Hey there guys, how we doing? I'm Yalek, it's Thursday, we're gonna do War Factory, and I have heard rumors on the Discords that we have something very interesting to look at today. Didn't see the full layout, but somebody posted a screenshot. This War Factory is going to have SIMOs on it. We have SIMOs in the Weapon Lab this week. Here they be. Last week, if you recall, the War Factory had, I think, 4 microwavers on it. Microwavers are out of the proto cycle. Weapon Lab. Weapon Lab. Whatever that thing is called, where you make your proto weapons. Microwavers out, SIMO is in, and we have SIMOs to deal with. And we have a bunch of them too. These guys shouldn't figure, I don't think. I suppose it depends what you're trying to do here. Should start off by saying no shield. 515, 550-ish, a little bit more than that in health. The SIMO does make things interesting a little bit. We could warrior rush this for sure. I think it's way more fun not to do something like that, or at least not to do it right away, but maybe to play around with these SIMOs a little bit. Let's check the health on some other things. The SIMO here is a 1. SIMO? I don't know how people say that. I say SIMO. It's named after some sniper. Nordic, I don't know, Swedish, Norwegian, something. Famous sniper. So I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but that's, you know, someone can correct me if they know better. Let's see, 2 over here, a 2, level 2, level 2. Bunch of grapplers over here, level 3, level 3, level 3. Random hot pot. GBE is going to be, or extra GBE is going to be a little hard to come by today, not gonna lie. Wooden grappler over here as well. I guess you could do several things with a base like this. You could use armor from this direction and just keep this grappler, boom cannon and stuff shocked. You could probably bard out this blaster and could hack out these shock launchers beforehand if you're careful. We're going to try stuff like that in a moment. Rarely, I have been on Duplexity teams, Operation Duplexity teams, only a few times ever, and that wasn't really where I wanted to be, so I've never stuck around much for that, so I've not gotten to hit too much against bases. I mean, player bases, yes, but on player bases there are SIMOs, but I'm generally doing different things. I'm generally doing my warriors. Operation bases, base kind of like this, where you sort of have to attack with a cumulative plan. We haven't seen that very much, or I haven't seen that very much, so this will be interesting. This direction, again, you could attack with armor. Eventually, you'd have to deal, if you're coming around from this side and working that way, you'd have to deal with this grappler, so I wouldn't prefer that. You could probably hack a few things, and so it does. Yeah, I don't think rifles are the best way to go coming from this direction. You could hack out these rocket launchers. Like I said, you could use a little bit of armor. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend doing that from this direction. From this direction, I think you could honestly do just about anything. You could make armor work with the proper setup. You can make rifles work with the proper setup. And like I said, you could definitely make warriors work here. Just for giggles, if we were thinking of doing that. Grappler's a pain. SIMO's a bit of a pain. Shock back here, shock. The grappler is really the only thing that I find very, very annoying. I'm thinking park bullet, or park on this machine gun with warriors and then move over to the headquarters. Bullet should be standing right next to this machine gun, and he'll taunt a bunch of stuff over here. So then you have a shock on these things over here. Shock launcher, blaster. This shouldn't be too much of a concern. You might throw a critter out that way and a shock back here, but definitely want to play around with Sparky here since we have this SIMO going. Larger plan. Oh, and the other fun thing I notice here is that, of course, SIMOs are snipers on steroids, so they have mega range. So this SIMO on the left-hand side, which we've selected here, ranges to the far edge of that mortar there. See it? This SIMO on the right-hand side ranges just past that. Same mortar, but ranges slightly into the middle of it. So if you're going to hack, and we're going to try to hack, you will definitely have to take into account both of those guys. Should be interesting. With that said, I do think I want to try that again. Hack out these rockets. We should probably select an approach, to be honest. Ruled out warriors just because we do that, and that's kind of uninteresting here. I kind of want to go with RCZM. I'm liking that recently, especially swapping something out and throwing Gramps in there. To be honest, I've often been taking out the medics. Medics are incredibly dumb, and half the time they don't end up helping you anyway if they choose to participate at all. There's a medic tribe on right now. Medic speed. I have not boosted it the tiniest bit. I don't even think I've done that on the one account where I do use tanks, to be honest with you. So let's switch over to this rifle loadout, and we'll probably do a setup hit or 2 or 3. It's not a tough layout, so it's not really a question of beating it. It's more a question of how we want to do it and, you know, having fun. So let's go ahead and do that. Medics. Nah. Gramps just cuz. All Troop Mania. That's fantastic. Except for Gramps, of course. Switch over to remote. And let's get frisky. Don't get weird with that, please. Just leave it. I probably shouldn't even have said it. It was a mistake. I'll admit it. I'll move on. Let's see. So, where would we like to get? I would like to get into a place where we're going to have to walk through this area if we're going to get Sparky to hack these things. What I would like is for her to get past the range of these two SIMOs so that... Wow. Alright, so there's a little gap in here, and it's a small gap too. Check this out carefully. Alright, so that guy ranges to the edges of these two towers. This one ranges into, well, to the edge of this rocket launcher here, and this guy ranges to the edge of this rocket launcher here. So we can get pretty safely into this little gap right here, and we should be able to do our hacking. Only catch with that is there's a hot pot there, so that is going to want to roast Sparky alive. However, I don't just want to be standing there if we end up hacking more than, if we end up doing a resmoke and another hack. That's a long time to be standing there under smoke. We can throw a critter as we go. Have I upgraded critters on this account? Let's find that out. We can throw a critter as we go, as we walk Sparky up to keep her alive. That'll be necessary. But once she's just standing there, 2, 3 SIMOs in the area, no, we haven't. That's unfortunate. We'll be eating those critters up pretty quickly, and so then Sparky will eventually become a target again. So there's another critter. That's talking about 3 hacks, 4 or 5 smokes, 2 critters. That gets to be a lot. So with all of that said, don't need, probably gonna land Sparky down here, and we don't need any critters until we get to the supply crates, and we'll just need them for the time that we're walking through this zone here, a couple smokes worth of area. So yeah, do we want to try to triple hack? I think that might be the best way with the hot pot there. Give it a whirl. Let's see what happens. If there going to be enough damage around? One would think so. Boom cannon, several SIMOs, as mentioned. That one, unfortunately, does not, I don't think, range this particular rocket launcher, but I guess we'll find out. And then, if we're successful in this, we're going to go over on the left-hand side, and we're going to do something very similar. Let's see. So we're going to damage you, and we'll damage you. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a flare because I want this to be particular. Cool. Great timing. Now you can see that the SIMOs there are picking off critters, and hopefully Sparky gets through. She should select the damage towers. We're going to throw another critter in here, and we're just going to hack like crazy as soon as possible. And 1 and 2. And see what we got. Hey, that's a good day fishing. Okay. And Sparky's actually still alive there, imagine that. Just stood there for, I don't know, 3, 4 count, just standing in the middle of the base of all these defenses. 149 well, they're not all defenses, so like 100 defenses, she's just standing there. All things happen around her. That's pretty cool. So 33 GBE left, and honestly we could just drop troops on this side and start clearing. That's totally possible here, just keeping a shock on the shock launchers and the blaster, but no reason to be hasty, right? So why don't we clear some mines, and we'll damage some things up, and we'll probably come in here and do that trick over again, maybe with these 2 shock launchers. Sounds like fun to me. Let's do it. I mean, you see these, we've been seeing these layouts for years, so this is actually exciting to me. Now, I can't say I was as excited about microwavers. I don't think there's much else that we want to do here, so we'll retreat on this one. I wasn't as excited about the microwavers because they're not as big of an obstacle. The range on the SIMO is what makes them very interesting here. A microwaver, yes, is a problem for Sparky if she's trying to walk past it. Sure, it'll roast her, and it'll roast her good, but you just go around because they have a very short range. I think it's pretty comparable to a hot pot. You just go around. That's very easy. But these guys, I mean, 2 of them covering, geez, from that wall all the way out to here, and from that mortar, as we said earlier, there, almost to the shore over here, like 90% of this base. And back here, no, but we're not interested in going back there. So, okay, so a double hack here. Critter, what can we do to make life easier then? Oh, and the 3 flotsam cannons. There's an interesting thing too. I might actually try barding out this flotsam. It's a flotsam 1. If we're approaching from this side, walking up with rifles and such, our troops would eventually need to kill that, and then it would be possible for it to kill our troops. Yes, you can do the thing where you flare away while it's, if your timing is good, you flare away as it's about to explode. It gives you warning signs, and then you can continue your attack. Shouldn't need to bother with these guys, I hope, because they're going to be opposite the HQ from us. So, we'll see if we can repeat that trick. Spark should be standing, I'd guess. We're going to put it right about here. So, we're going to clear that boom mine on the shore. Also going to check the range on this SIMO so that, once again, we don't end up getting sniped under smoke. And let's see. Go like that. And go like that. And we're going to go like that. And we're going to get the critters right into there. Flare to this guy. Keeping an eye on critters. Get her hacks off. Spark's still alive. Now she is not. Never mind. I spoke a bit too soon. And there's a lot of stuff around there. Boy, whew, there's a ton of damage in that area. So those 2 towers will definitely go down. Bonus here. we'll be putting some damage on these machine guns as we try to kill this flotsam. Because, you know, if you're using rifles, machine guns are not your friend either. And at this point, again, we could still just walk up and... Alright, see that thing? It gives you, what is that, 3 or 4 seconds of time to, you know, react and get out of the way, but... yeah, better just to have it dead and not have to deal with it in the first place, I say. So, yeah, I think from here we're good. We're going to get Sparky again. Really like Sparky with these one-hitter kind of towers, single-shot snipers and cannons and boom cannons, oh my. But we're going to load up her critter ability, which on this account's pretty well boosted up too, so that's nice. Shouldn't need remote anymore. And like I said, from this side of this base, you could do probably whatever you want. Honestly, with that kind of health, if you have, like me, I'm a very high GBE player. I use a lot of GBE for my warriors. I have 6 GBE on this account and heavily upgraded abilities. I could, for the most part, just Bart. I can do roughly 100,000 damage in an attack. And grabbing a little bit of extra GBE on the way, just drop troops and, you know, kill a few things quickly. Yeah, would totally just be able to Bart the War Factory out. But again, where's the fun in that? There's no challenge. So, let's see. We can go ahead and finish off that guy. That should be 1 art. And then, are you a 1? You're a 2. And you have a good bit more health on you. That is unfortunate. Well, we'll start barring it. See where that gets us. 1 of you. And 1 of you. Is it worth carrying on? What the heck? I mean, again, extra attacks. It should be a war factory that most people can beat with a minimum of skill, which is really all that I brag of having. We get by. That's all we need to say about that. I guess we'll just keep on with the barding thing. A little bit of GBE here left over. Again, continue trying to take this guy out just as much as possible, making life easy for our troops. We've got extra attacks. Why lose extra troops? Confirm. Thank you. Okay. Boy, that took forever and a day. I suppose you could also use Kavan and his second wind ability, but we'll stick with this. And at this point, I think we'll just go in and clear everything out and beat this. But a couple for you. Start with a critter, grappler, and things. Shock the blaster. Going ahead and clearing, or attempting to clear, some more towers with GBE as we're landing troops here. And again, these are all one-hitter type towers. They don't do the fire machine gun type damage, continuous damage. They don't do ranged or splash damage. Lost the word there for a second. And troops are getting a little bit distracted off to the side. We don't want to wander into the range of machine guns, which do the kind of damage. Oop, and we're just going to stay back here. There's that thing that I was talking about. We're just going to stay back here for a second. And let that flotsam go ahead and do its angry little death dance, whatever you want to call that. And keep clearing a tiny bit. But no, it really don't need to carry on with that further. That's... God, I love the sound that the bombardiers make as they're shooting. They just sound like... I mean, they sound like happy little madmen. It's really... You just, if you haven't paid attention to it, pay attention to it. It's terrific. Well, It's a war factory that most people should be able to beat, and that's kind of fun. It's also a war factory that most people should be able to beat in the way that is most enjoyable to them. Like I said, if you're approaching from the left side, you could use armor, you can use these guys, you can use warriors, whatever you like to do, and that in itself is fun too. Not as much a challenge, but I totally recommend going ahead and trying something different, something maybe a little bit out of your wheelhouse, because why not, when you've got 3 attacks like that just to absolutely waste on just removing a bunch of stuff that you probably could have even gone without. Someone out there will have the solo video for this. It won't be me, but boy, I didn't even look at how many shocks that would have taken. Let's go back to the very first layout. And what would we be looking at if we were looking at like a heavy Zuka solo somewhere? Say heavy Zuka because you got a nice short walk from this direction and rockets over here. So the heavies, if you're approaching from this side, the heavies will take that rocket fire. Honestly, very viable approach. If you're just coming from this beach over here, left-hand side, and you park your troops over here, flare the core, a shock. That should not range you. If you've parked well, you'll lose a few troops to the SIMO, under smoke, throw a critter, under smoke. That solves that problem. And you can one-shot this. Again, any way you want to beat it, go ahead and beat it, but you might as well have some fun with it, because that's kind of the point. When do you get to practice these things? This is a chance to practice these things. Go practice these things. With that said, I believe I saw that I have an op hit to do, and I will leave you guys on that note because, well, just cause. Anyway, hope you had a nice Christmas or whatever holiday it was that you had to celebrate, and I'll catch you guys around. Take care.